Hello everybody and welcome back to another video series here. Today we've got something really exciting. So my plan is to, not make too many videos per week. So if you've seen my content last week, you'll know that I put something out almost every single day. Multiple videos per day of the weekday last week. And I just don't think that's sustainable. Now, as much as I love making videos and I love it that you guys have content to watch, I don't actually want you guys to have so much content that you don't know what to watch, that there's too much going on, and that you'll never be able to have a chance to catch up. So what I'm going to do is actually kind of get a new system going here so that each week I'll do 2 modern competitive leagues with competitive decks, competitively oriented games, and things like that. And then one of the days of the week I will do a deck like this, where it's kind of like not even tier 2 sort of thing, kind of a brew, kind of a deck that's fallen off the map, similar to what I did with Grixis Delver. And then you can, kind of have a break from the hyper-competitive and also be able to explore, the depths of Modern with me here. Because Modern is huge, and there's no reason we should restrict ourselves to just the tier 1 and tier 2 decks of the format, right? We can explore a little bit, similar to what we have in front of us here. So let's go ahead and talk about the deck that you see in front of you. So this is Blue, White, Death, and Taxes. This deck essentially tries to stop your opponent from really doing what their deck is meant to do. So what we have here is cards like Leonin Arbiter, which shut off search effects, and almost every deck in the format has a search effect in the form of fetch lands, but some decks rely more heavily on search effects in the form of Scapeshift or Tron and decks like that. Then we also have Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, which kind of taxes your opponent's non-creature spells by 1 more, and that really puts a damper on control decks, on combo decks, and even mid-range decks that have removal. It makes it really hard for your opponent to double spell on certain turns. Then we have cards like Spell Queller, which enter the battlefield and they exile a creature your opponent control. So essentially, when your opponent plays any spell with converted mana cost 4 or less, you get to snatch it up and basically counter it for as long as you have a Spell Queller in play. So that's kind of the taxes element of the deck. Oh, I forgot to mention, we also have Mausoleum Wanderer, which you can sacrifice it and you can counter instant sorcery spell unless its controller pays X, where X is Mausoleum Wanderer's power, which is normally 1, but sometimes it's 2 if you played a Spell Queller or another one, Mausoleum Wanderer that turn. So that's going to be the taxes element of the deck. But there's also multiple angles to this deck, which we'll talk about right now. So there's kind of the, creature, anti-creature plan. What we have is 4 Path to Exile and 4 Reflector Mage. And what's nice about Reflector Mage is that it combos with Restoration Angel in terms of blinking, but it also combos with Meddling Mage, a card that is really great against, combo or removal light decks. But we can also just bounce a creature and then name that creature with Meddling Mage, similar to what Humans does. And essentially we just, have these 2 creatures on board now, and we answered one of our opponent's cards. So it's not really card disadvantage because we have a body in play, but it is kind of using 2 cards to answer 1 problematic creature on your opponent's side. And then we also have this mana denial plan in the form of Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin, and especially in combination with Leonin Arbiter, makes it really hard for the opponent to develop their mana. And then we also play 4 Spreading Seas. So even if your opponent develops their mana somewhat, you have these Ghost Quarters and the combination of Spreading Seas to really shut them down from playing any of their cards. And something to wrap it up is a Fast Clock, which is Geist of St. Traff. Now he's legendary. You don't want too many of him, and he's 3 mana. So again, especially you don't want too many of him out or drawing too many of them. Obviously, you can't have more than 1 out. But point is, Geist of St. Traff is a great clock, especially to play off of an Aether Vial, and you can protect it with Restoration Angel or Reflector Mages. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of moving pieces. You can, one of the key pieces here that I didn't mention here was Aether Vial. It really lets you kind of cheat on mana, play multiple spells a turn, multiple creatures at instant speed. It's a really powerful card that's going to be really important in winning certain games. And then we have a pretty streamlined blue-white mana base here. We have 1 Horizon Canopy, 1 Field of Ruin, which isn't necessarily stock, but Horizon Canopy cycles, essentially, if you're flooding, and then Field of Ruin is kind of an extra land hate effect, which I really enjoy. And then let's talk about the sideboard. Being in white colors, we have plenty of hate, right? We have Stony Silences and Rest in Pieces, which are ideal. We have Burnt and Forge Tenders to, stop red decks or red sweepers. So it's great against Burn, great against Anger of the Gods decks and things like that. Also just pro-red. It just can be a nice blocker against, red decks. Celestial Purge Also comes in against Death's Shadow, Blood Moon decks, other red decks, other black decks. Celestial Purge is just fantastic. Hits Liliana of the Veil. It's just a great card. We have 2 sweepers in Supreme Verdict and Settle the Wreckage. I like Settle the Wreckage because oftentimes we might be keeping up mana from Restoration Angel and Spell Queller, and our opponent won't know which one to play around, and so they might get hit by one or the other. And then we have 2 Selfless Spirit here to protect against Supreme Verdict and Wrath of God type decks. Whew, okay, I think I covered everything here. So again, this is kind of an off-the-wall deck. Definitely not a Tier 1 or Tier 2 deck here. This is, closer to Tier 3 if there is such a thing in Modern. This is similar to the Craig Wescoe deck that he played at, one of the most recent Modern Pro Tours. So we're going to go ahead and try it out, see if it plays well for us in 3 matches of single queue lobbies, of competitive lobbies. So again, we're putting money to enter these games, which means we should hopefully run into some competitive games, and that's going to be our overall goal, to test this deck in a somewhat competitive landscape, but not a competitive league. Okay, so this is going to be the non-competitive video series. Well, sorry, this is going to be the competitive video series, but not one of the 2 Modern competitive leagues that I'll be putting out, every week. So again, there's going to be 1 kind of off-the-wall brew videos per week, and then 2 Modern competitive league videos per week, and that's what we're going to do here. That's going to be the plan. So 3 sets of videos per week. So there's going to be 3 for this series, and then 5 for each of the other series this week. Okay, and you can probably expect those to come out in 2-day increments. So you're seeing this on Monday, even though I'm obviously not recording it on Monday. I'm getting a little ahead in terms of making content, and then you'll see the next one on Wednesday, and then the next one on Friday, and then back again on Monday. And that's going to be the cycle that I'm going to try to do. Get a routine here, so you'll know when to expect my videos, and that you won't be worried. Or wondering when I'm going to make a new video, because you'll know, okay, you're coming out with these videos on certain days, and I think that's going to be ideal for most of you. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. I have a feeling that the last week of making content, where I had a set of videos every single day of the weekday, was really content heavy for some of you. So let me know in the comments if that's what you think, and if you like this new change. And if you don't like this new change, let me know. And I can always try to improve moving forward. I want to make you guys happy while also just making good content in general. I don't want to make too much content and have the quality go down, if that makes sense. Okay, so thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned for the first match coming up in just a second. Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to the first match here with Blue, White, Death, and Taxes. Yeah, we're going to die. Let's go ahead and play first. Let's take a look at our opening hand here. Pretty land heavy, right? And this is essentially kind of a mana source. If we believe in our draws, we might get there. But this is a kind of a clunker and a sketchy keep, I would say. So here we're still kind of representing humans in a way. Serum Visions, okay. If this is Storm, then Thalia might be great here. Might being the key word. Let's take a look at our opponent's Scries here with their Serum Visions, 2 on the bottom. Always a good sign for us. Mausoleum Wanderer, wow. That's a great pickup off the top there. If our opponent fetches here, plays like a lightning bolt, tries to bolt our Thalia, we can get that Mausoleum Wanderer in play. Look, this might be blue-white control. Huh. So this was the issue with keeping a hand like this. Is that we have a lot of lands. So it's kind of a taxing hand, a lot of tax elements here, but question is, do we want to take our Vial up to 3? I don't think so. I think we want to keep our Vial on 2. Because we don't want to get a Leonin Arbiter countered. Well, that's kind of annoying. It means our aggression on the ground is going to be stopped, and it doesn't get taxed by Thalia. Opponent plays an island. I think I'll keep my Vial on 2. That's a Reflector Mage. Kind of punishes us for doing that, but I think I want to develop my board and keep attacking. And we have this Ghost Quarter for this Colonnade eventually, but hopefully we can pair it with a Leonin Arbiter. Hopefully our opponent is stuck on lands here, because worst case scenario here is our opponent hits land 4, just takes another hit here for 5, and then they Verdict us the next turn. So we really got to be careful about potential Supreme Verdict. Interesting. Detention Sphere. I guess we can't counter that. Maybe they take the Thalia. Mausoleum Wander. Aether Vial. Thalia it is. Can't do anything to interact with that. Mausoleum Wander is only instants and sorceries. I think I'll say no once more. Meddling Mage, huh? I think I'm okay just playing that and naming Supreme Verdict. Because if that's what my opponent was leading into here, into Detention Sphere, my Thalia, into no 5th land, into Verdict, then this is, I guess if they had, yeah, and that's the thing, they can play Verdict right now, if they had it, but they can't punch through this Meddling Mage. So double Wall of Omens here would be really unfortunate for us. Field of Ruin, huh? I wonder how my opponent will choose to use that. If they Field of Ruin my Ghost Quarter, I will activate it in response to hit the Colonnade. So I imagine that's not what my opponent's doing here. I can't imagine that's a good line. Search for Azcanta. So now we might be forced to save this Ghost Quarter for the Search for Azcanta. I think now we do want to tick up to 3. Interesting. So we could tick up here. We could play Reflector Mage and bounce Wall of Omens, swing for 5. Our opponent can't play Wall of Omens again, swing for 7 the following turn. That's all under the assumption our opponent doesn't have a Path to Exile. But, well, we gotta push through damage somehow here. So something like a Wrath of God would be rather unfortunate here. Maybe my opponent has a bunch of Spreading Seas or something like that. So, land, they only have 2 white sources. That might actually be relevant, which means they can't, like, path my Meddling Mage and then Verdict the board. So this might be an okay situation for us. The issue is, of course, Settle the Wreckage. They have been playing one of those in the main deck on occasion. We do have to be careful about that. But we do have lethal on board, right? Our opponent can't just sit back and do nothing here. And they can't sit back and block with Colonnade either. Sure, looks like they're digging. That's a good sign. It means Settle the Wreckage can't get us here, because we can Mausoleum Wander to sacrifice. It does mean Snapcaster Mage blocks works. No. That's not a great pickup here, but I don't think we're not attacking here. Yep, and we have exactly lethal for a total of 6 damage, and our opponent concedes. Alright, blue-white control is down. We definitely want the Selfless Spirits in this matchup. Probably want to cut 1 Path to Exile, maybe even 2 for the Selfless Spirits. There is an argument for Rest in Peace. They are a Searcher's Canta deck. They have sometimes Snapcaster Mage, or usually it's 2 Snapcaster Mage, 2 Ascanta. But that's, I mean, Rest in Peace doesn't do a whole lot otherwise, and we have a lot of good ways to deal with them anyway. So I'm going to keep the Reflector Mages. Well, maybe the first Rest in Peace is okay, but just 1 over the Reflector Mage. Although Reflector Mage did some decent work there against Wall of Omens, I don't think we can expect that to happen consistently. And I have a feeling that Meddling Mage naming Supreme Verdict there was very clutch. This game they might have more sweepers like Wrath of God and things like that, so we should keep that in mind. Here we've got a turn 2 Thalia. I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand. It needs a little bit of work, but I have seen worse. I have definitely seen worse. There's an Arbiter, so we could have turn 2 Thalia into turn 3 Arbiter plus Ghost Quarter. Thalia is in. Spell Snare. Wow, that's so good here. Oh my god. Question is, do they have another Spell Snare? If not, then I could really get them here. Please don't have another Spell Snare. Oh, I guess they can always crack in response, right? Alright, they're not shocking. That's good for us. Let's just get rid of one of the colonnades here. Hopefully we can kind of mana screw them, although they're a pretty mana heavy deck, and they also have the Search for Azcanta going off here. So eventually they'll get lands, but maybe we can just kind of stop them from playing their spells for just a little bit longer. So maybe right now they have a fetch land on top, and they're wondering whether they should keep it on top, because it does eat up their turn. Ooh, Field of Ruin, interesting. Field of Ruin would actually be pretty... They could wasteland me. That would be pretty good. Not gonna lie. So the Spell Snare was really strong against us here. In this specific draw. If they didn't have that Spell Snare, they could be really behind right now. Really behind. But, looks like my opponent is in the think tank here. Field of Ruin. Okay. They could wasteland me if they want. Obviously, neither one of us can pay. Sure, you want to take me off of that? That's one of my colored sources, I guess. Yep. Now we can protect against sweepers, apply more pressure on the board. I don't think using Ghost Quarter there was a reasonable option. My opponent shows that they're willing to spend 2 mana to wasteland me. Then they probably have more lands in their hand, and there's no need to set ourselves back when we don't even have the fetch lands lined up. Okay. Aether Vial is not a bad card in this position here. Alright, we swing at our opponent, take 4. Aether Vial, holding up our Ghost Quarter. So we can't respond to our opponent paying for Arbiter. So our opponent goes ahead and cracks the fetch here. So there's no scenario where we can really Ghost Quarter our opponent. Opponent could flip Search for Azcanta here if they wanted to. If they really wanted to. They don't. Interesting. Okay, I guess because they want to keep the land on top. Alright, so glad we have this 1 Path to Exile here that we left in our deck, right? We set it out 3. Oh, we set it out 2, so we still have 2. But Path to Exile might line up well against Colonnade if we don't end up using this Ghost Quarter on Colonnade. Because I have a feeling if we draw land next turn, we're just shocking and playing or holding up Spell Queller. If our opponent wants the Verdict here, I will definitely Selfless Spirit in response. But it is not a locked game in any way here. Our opponent's got 4 cards in hand. They've got the mana. They've got a Search for a Scanted that can eventually be mana. So this Aether Vial was definitely a good first step in maybe kind of unloading our hand soon. Ball of Omens, sure. Looks like they're going to hold up 2 mana for the Arbiter. Puzzling Wonder, wow. What a nice pickup. What a nice pickup. I think here we'll just go ahead and attack with a Selfless Spirit. If my opponent is just forced to keep up 2 mana for the rest of this game here, I mean, obviously that's a really good spot for us. Looks like they don't. Oh, it looks like they bin the Floodstrand into their graveyard. Probably not a card they want to draw here. Oh wait, never mind. Maybe that Floodstrand was already in the graveyard. Yeah, that Floodstrand was in the graveyard already. All of them, sure. Let's go ahead and activate Vial. Say yes. Play the Mausoleum Wanderer. Let's go and take up Vial to 2 here. We even drew a land. Probably one of the best lands we can draw too, because it can cycle. And now, I gotta say, I feel pretty good about our position. Meddling Mage, we could name Path to Exile. Huh. Alright, this is a tough one. We could Spell Queller that. And then we could Meddling Mage in. Yeah, I think we want to hold up Spell Queller though. So the problem is here, I think I want this land. Let's get a plane. We have a lot of blue in our hand. Nah, let's get a plane. We attack for 1 here. I'm going to go ahead and play this Meddling Mage. Now, name Supreme Verdict. So obviously we took off our Ghost Quarter. We're not holding up Ghost Quarter. We're holding up Path to Exile though. I guess Field of Ruin would be kind of unfortunate here, but looks like our opponent's got their 6th land. Wrath of God could be kind of rough for us. Jace. Okay, Jace is also pretty good. Can't beat a Jace right now. What we could do is bounce. Yeah, let's see what they want to do here with this. Alright, they kept on top, so definitely not what you want to see. Yes. Arbiter. Wow. Interesting. think we want to bounce one of these Wall of Omens to my opponent's hand and chip Jace here for 3. Obviously well, I guess we could clear Jace, right? I guess I didn't think about this line, right? They don't get a land. Jace is off the board, and we actually have lethal next turn. I'm going to hold up Spell Queller here for a potential Supreme Verdict. Oh, I guess we have Supreme Verdict named, but I think we're in a pretty good spot here, regardless. Our opponent knows about our Leonin Arbiter in hand, so I think they're in a pretty rough spot. Oh, Geist. I wonder if we should be playing around to settle the wreckage here. I don't think so. Could be wrong, though. If my opponent wants to activate Colonnade, then they can be my guest. Alright. 2. And I'll just go ahead and put my opponent to 2 here. We have a lot of creatures up here. Our opponent's probably going to go digging with Search for his Kanta. Turn target creature to its owner's hand, draw a card, huh? So that might indicate my opponent wants a Supreme Verdict next turn, and I think I say, okay. I think my opponent is dead here. Obviously, they don't know what we have in hand. We got a lot of good stuff in hand. They play a land. Here comes the Verdict. We'll Spell Queller that. Now Mausoleum Wanderer is on X equals 2. They played a land for turn, so yeah, they can go ahead and just do that. Don't think they have an out at this point. Path to Exile. Could they have another Path to Exile? And they don't. All right. And even if they did, we could flash in Geist off our Aether Vial and get him for 4 in the air. Wow. That was a great first match there against Blue White Control. Hope you guys enjoyed it, but stay tuned for another match here coming up real soon. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the second match here with Blue White Death and Taxes. Let's go ahead and keep this hand. We have a pretty nice opener here. We got turn 1 Aether Vial, we got Spreading Seas, Chancellor of the Forge. Oh, geez. So, I was doing a little bit of research. This could be NPG Goldfish's mono green stomp. Uh-oh. Guys, I think we might be dead soon. This is rather probably going to be Green-White Company, Devoted Company. They could easily, I don't want to say easily, but they could combo us pretty quickly. This is like the turbo combo build. If we can Spreading Seas the Hall of the Bandit Lord, we might be in a good spot. It means we're not going to get just totally wrecked by a... Oh, okay, sure. Definitely want to put that on there. And definitely want to Spreading Seas here. Don't want to get cheesed out of nowhere. Alright, Thalia. It's a card to play off of our Aether Vial at the very least. See if we're just going to die to a 3/3 here, though. We might, but we'll play 2 spells next turn to shrink it down and then have Thalia to block it. But I guess we might not have 2 spells to play, right? Because we don't necessarily want to just Spreading Seas again on that. We will have Resto to block it soon. I think I want to save my Spreading Seas. There is an argument to just playing Thalia, though. They have sometimes like Mishra's Baubles and things like that. And other weird cards. They have Court of Calling and... Alright, there's the Devoted Druid. Doesn't have haste, thank God. This could be a tight spot for us. They needed that green source off the top. I think we can tick up to 3 here because Reflector Mage would be a great draw. Spell Queller is also a great draw. Wow. So now we can even block the... We could actually do something fancy here with, in response to Spell Queller, we could exile a spell forever. I don't think we necessarily need to do that, though. Especially because it's possible my opponent might just play Restoration Angel. Or might attack first, therefore I would probably be prompted to block with the Restoration Angel. But now our opponent has some green mana freed up here. No white mana yet. I forget which was the hold priority button. Control. So I could hold priority with Spell Queller if I really wanted to. Do they have like a Manamorphose or something like that? What's happening here? Excuse me. Yeah, I think they're might be having some trouble here with Devoted Druid. So the most this could be is X equals... Oh man. What is this? What is this? What's happening? Is this walking? No. So this is a 5 mana spell. Like Thalia is almost making this worse. Well, X equals 1, right? No, X equals... So, okay, so Thalia's making this perfect, actually, so... Yes. So I could exile this forever, but actually... Did they even have anything for X equals 1? Was that like just a total bait? Might have just been just complete bait. Complete and utter bait. I think I'm actually going to tick this vial up to 4. And tick this vial up to 2. Wow. What if I just name Walking Ballista? Can they win? Game 1? Can they win? Post quarter. I guess I play it. Yeah, I think I'll play the meddling mage right now. And name Walking Ballista. It looks like they found another basic forest. It's gonna be a game, alright. What we can do here is actually blink the Spell Queller if we need to. And the Court of Calling can get cast, but it'll only be cast for x equals 0 once it comes off the Spell Queller. So that's really not the end of the world for us. So I think just naming their win condition is best here. They don't play any removal as far as I'm aware. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are they going to do the same thing again? Like, what does x equals 1 even do? Did they even play Birds of Paradise? Let's just get them. And Spellquail leaves. So they can cast Chord for x equals 0 if they wanted to. I don't think they have any 0-cost creatures, yeah. But then again, I also don't think they have any 1-cost creatures, so maybe I'm just spewing here unnecessarily. No. Yeah, we can go up to 3 with this vial. Another Darker Wastes, sure. So this is 5, 7, 9 damage, which means they're dead in the air next turn. Is there any reason to try to Ghost Quarter them off of this forest? Could they have no forests left? Maybe. That seems kind of sketchy, though. I'm not familiar with their list, so I'm just going to go ahead and say no. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, they don't have any outs to this main deck. Unless I just named the wrong win con, unless they're on the Emrakul build all of a sudden. I guess I could have just named the actual combo piece. That also would have been okay. In this matchup, what do we want? We don't actually have that many tools. Rest in Peace doesn't do anything against this combo. Verdict might be okay. A little slow, but it might be okay. Settle is not what we want. Stony Silence could actually stop the Walking Ballista kill. So I think we can consider that. I think we want to consider these cards here. Dice is a fine clock. Arbiter, most of our deck is just fine here, right? I don't know if I want to side in random hate pieces like that, especially because they might have a backup win con in game 2. So I think Supreme Verdict might be one of our best options here, maybe over an expensive uninteractive spell, or maybe over one of our Geists. It's a clock, but maybe we want to maximize interaction here. Again, I don't think bringing Stony Silence in would be correct, but we technically have not seen the Walking Ballista yet, so they might not actually be on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say submit, and hope to get another hateful draw like we just did, and hope our opponent stumbles just a tiny bit for us to get there. The thing is, our opponent, we would need a turn 1 Path to Exile to favorably interact with our opponent here. Because their deck is capable of going off on turn 2, as far as I'm aware. with Hall of the Bandit Lord is essentially what you're trying to do. Is just go off on turn 2. They have a lot of fast mana, but we're disruptive, and that's what we do best. I was going to say, I thought this was like the 3-drop Stompy deck that MTG Goldfish Saffron Olive just came out with. I saw those, and I was a little worried. Yeah, no Path to Exiles, kind of rough, but we do have Leonin Arbiter, is great against Court of Calling on turn 2. So if they have a turn 3 kill, then we at least are able to interact with them that way. So it looks like they do have an X=1 card to bring in here. It's good to know. Ghost Quarter is a fine pickup. I think on turn 2, we have an option of going Thalia or Leonin Arbiter. Devoted Druid, okay. Interesting. They just go for it, alright. So this stops Court of Calling dead in its tracks. So I kind of like just jamming the Arbiter here. Because Thalia could tax it for 1, but we don't know what kind of shenanigans our opponent might do for us next turn. And they already have like 1, 2, 3, 4 mana here, so Thalia might not tax them all that much at all. Alright, okay, Sunpetal Grove is very interesting. Vizier of Remedies, alright, that's infinite mana. Ah, crap, yeah, that's infinite mana. They just have the natural combo, and there's nothing we can do to stop that. So Leonin Arbiter doesn't actually stop them from searching their library when they have infinite mana, but if they needed the Court of Calling to find the combo piece, then Arbiter would have been fine here. But because they already had the combo piece, alright, if my opponent, out here is my opponent forgetting to pay for Arbiter, and then us just, you know, just getting them. As it stands here, I wonder how long my opponent's going to go here. Unless they just have the Walking Ballista in hand. They have the Duskwatch Recruiter. So I kind of want to play it out to see if they have, if the kill is Walking Ballista. Because if the kill is not Walking Ballista... Alright, there's Devoted Druid. Wow, they just had like the natural 3-card combo in hand. That's kind of nutty. Treacherous Impulse, alright. Temple Garden, okay. What is your win con, opponent? If your win con is Walking Ballista, I'm going to bring in Stony Silence. That's another Vizier. I'm just going to let my opponent, I'll concede when you show me the win con. Just to show my opponent I'm not, like, scum. So these are some cards my opponent has revealed from the deck. Are they just playing... Why would they play out the Chancellor? What's happening here? Alright, that's another Vizier. Sure. Duskwatch Recruiter, okay. Again, they generally just have 1 Walking Ballista. Chancellor, alright. Are they just playing? Why are they playing them out? Just maybe they didn't get my message. You know, maybe that was it. This is probably awfully boring for you guys. For all I know, I'm going to edit out most of all of this talk. Okay. Vizier. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pause this somewhere along my rambling. So, I'll see you guys soon. Alright, we're back, and my opponent did not play Walking Ballista. Is their win con just 6/7s? What in the world is going on? They have infinite mana, so they have double combo piece. Maybe we're just supposed to kill the Duskwatch Recruiter? Playing Thalia doesn't do anything. Blowing up their lands doesn't do anything. It's on board. Your win con is Chancellor? Opponent, what are you doing? Opponent! I am genuinely upset right now that I might lose to the Vizier combo without an actual win condition. So, guess we'll go ahead and start here. Opponent just doesn't need the lands. Alright. Got it, opponent. And here I can block Duskwatch, I can block all their stuff here except Chancellor. If I can find a Reflector Mage, I can bounce the Chancellor. I mean, look guys. I don't know. I think it's a genuine question to ask. Like, why are you not playing your actual win con here? I mean, this board is ridiculous, right? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My opponent has infinite mana, but they got nothing to do with it. Chance to go better in real life, but slow online? I can't. I don't buy that at all. Because now all I need to draw is 4 Path to Exiles. Hell, I can even draw like Reflector Mage and Meddling Mage, and then they can't do anything? Samet? What in the freaking... Alright. Well, naming that Walking Ballista in Game 1 was clearly, grossly incorrect. Just the absolute worst name I could have possibly named. Clearly, it should have been Vizier, or Chancellor, or Samet. Alright, I think I've seen enough in my opponent's deck here. We're not getting there against this. Yeah, alright, alright. Whew. Okay, so Settle the Wreckage is a real card now, all of a sudden. Which it shouldn't be. I'm going to be honest with you guys, it should not be. This is not how these matches usually play out. So I'm glad I didn't bring in the Stony Silences. Selfless Spirit's probably not good enough. Celestial Purge kills Samet, that's about it. Not worth it. Yeah, let's go ahead and run it back. Hope for a better opening hand here. Maybe a more hateful one. Let's go ahead and save. Yeah, it's a hand. It's a hand I can't send back. So hopefully my opponent doesn't have the natural combo here again, just in their hand, just naturally. That would be very frustrating. But if they play like a turn 1, like Adventurous Impulse or one of those other cantrips, I think I will counter it. The Supreme Verdict might actually be good here. It looks like it's a Bird of Paradise, so we can't do anything to interact with that. I think I want to find land here, so I'm going to go ahead and Spreading Seas, the Forest. I think I want to hit my land drops and just like verdict the board. Kind of just play like a weird control deck. Alright, there's a third land. That's great. And here we attack. Third lands means we can Reflector Mage, part of the combo next turn, which means we're not dead on turn 3. Alright, there's a Devoted Druid, which we will absolutely bounce to my opponent's hand next turn. Whoops. That means they can't play it for another turn, which will let us drop a Thalia and hopefully just slow our opponent down enough to cast a Verdict on a favorable board. We could also just hit land and then Reflector Mage their combo piece forever, especially if they don't hit lands. Never mind. Good talk with myself there. Ooh. All right. Well, I think that's better than Is it though? Ooh, this is actually kind of tricky because they'll have the mana for double Devoted Druid next turn, which means that if I Verdict and I save a Devoted Druid under my Spell Queller, that could just be very bad news. Very bad news. But if they don't have another Devoted Druid, well, we need another land anyways to Verdict, and if we hit that land, we can also Resto, bounce Reflector Mage to blink it. And our opponent could have another Devoted Druid here, but I tried to cut them off of their digging to hopefully not find it. And now we're also establishing a faster clock than my opponent's 3/3. So if my opponent holds back to block, I guess that's not great for us, but it's not the end of the world either. Alright, Commune with Nature. Really hoping not to find a... Oh, that's a Vizier. That is scary. No attacks from my opponent. Makes sense. I guess that doesn't make sense, actually, because now they can't actually block. Well, not finding... Yeah, they could have infinite mana next turn, and we just don't have the positive interaction that we need. Guess I play the Arbiter, as it doesn't stop me from maybe wrathing the board next turn if I want to. But that's not necessarily a winning line either. Yep, mana. They have the white off the Vizier. They have the Summoner's Pact. Sure. Oh my god! Oh my god! Arbiter! They forgot to pay for Arbiter! Oh! Opponent! Opponent! Oh! My child. Oh, you poor thing. And now they're forced to pay 4 mana next turn as well? Does Hall of the Bandit only pay for creatures? If we can Wrath the board next turn... I guess they could still go off here if they find it right now. Alright, that's a forest. I guess now Verdict is not an option either. To make, I guess with the Devoted Druid, Verdict wouldn't have been an option anyways. They would have been able to pay the 4. Alright, there's the Vizier. Wow, Arbiter just doing work there. And we drew the Reflector Mage to bounce the Vizier, which means there's probably no chance we're getting comboed. Alternatively, holy crap, could I just bounce the Birds of Paradise? Now my opponent can't actually pay. For their pact? Oh my god, opponent. Opponent, what have you done? What have you done? Sure, go ahead. That's not a what? Oh my god. What am I doing? Team, what am I doing? I thought I had them. I thought they were dead. Ah, crap. I guess forcing them to pay the 3 life also forces them to chump next turn, which means they're down a combo piece. Wow, Meddling Mage, we can even name Vizier. I'm sorry, Devoted Druid, so that even if we lose our spell queller, our opponent cannot kill us. Imagine they block the Arbiter here. Then they also have to block the, yeah. Now they really don't have any combo pieces left. Alright, Devoted Druid. Say go. I guess the balance with the Reflector Mage wasn't the loosest play I could have possibly made. Definitely not as loose as I've done before. But it was a little loose, right? We know they have Bird in hand. I guess they could Chord here. But then it doesn't have haste because they can't pay 3 life. And our opponent concedes. Wow, guys, I'm not going to say that was a completely competitive match there at all, but we won. That's all that matters to me, right? Whew. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. That was the second match here with Blue White Death and Taxes, and stay tuned for a third and final match coming up real soon. Alright, let's go ahead and get this party started. We are in match 3 here. Yep, this is the third match. We won the die roll. I mean, let's go play first. The riskiest of openers. I'm doing it, guys. 1 land Aether Vial on the play. Just come at me. Just come at me. We've got a curve here. We've got a curve. If we hit a land, our life is looking good. Our opponent mulligan to 6. Also good for us, and they scry to the bottom. Mono red, huh? Sure. Hit me. Hit me. See if I care. Yes. Wow. Is it worth keeping up the Path to Exile here? Nah, I'm just gonna go ahead and play the other Aether Vial. Say go. Sure. Oh, they do have the second land. Interesting. So I wonder what their... Does they have a Grim Lavamancer here, maybe? Oh, Rift Bolt. Sure. Yes to both. Another Path to Exile. So I wish I pathed last turn, but it's not the end of the world here. We could play the Thalia now to tax them, but... there is a reasonable chance my opponent plays like a Goblin Guide off the top. And then we can block it. So Thalia would tax this Rift Bolt by 1 mana. We go to 14. Opponent shocks, probably. Yeah. So I'd like to take one less damage here. And I think I'll also take the damage here. Yeah, helix me, sure. I go to 7. I don't think this Thalia is going to be doing much taxing. Wow, okay. And they even have another... Alright, both of these are going up. So drawing a 2-drop here would obviously be ideal. A land is okay. Not the greatest. Obviously the darker wastes are hurting a little bit. We could Reflector Mage, but I think I'd rather hold up Spell Queller. And we're definitely attacking here. I guess Goblin Guide might get us here, but... The question is, do we want to eat this Rift Bolt? But we'll have to pay 1 for it first if they want to cast it. And I think we do want to eat it. I just realized that land was actually really important to actually be able to Path to Exile under our own Thalia. I did not even think about that at all. Yeah, I'm not even worried about this Eidolon at all with Reflector Mage in hand either. So we're going to tick up this Aether Vial up to 3 because we have 2 3-drops. So this first one is a no. The second one is a yes. And here we just really want to get aggressive. We don't want to die. Obviously, we don't want to die. All right, we're dead to 2 burn spells. The issue is we're not dead to 2 3-mana burn spells because our opponent can't do that under Thalia. But we are dead to like Bolt. Opponent does not play anything. So I think I'm going to go ahead and Reflector Mage here. Here goes double Geist, or double 3-drop. At this point, we do not want to tick these up. Let's go ahead and say no here. Another Reflector Mage is just insane. Oh wow, my opponent conceded? Maybe they had to have 2 lands then, because the 1 burn spell doesn't get there. Wow. That was great. Well, actually, 1 burn spell... No, because then it was on the spell queller. Yep, never mind. So in this matchup, I like the Forged Tenders. I like the Celestial Purge. Don't really need Selfless Spirit. Probably not the kind of game we want to play against them. And we don't need the Verdict either. So I think we want these 5 in here. In this matchup, I don't particularly think Spreading Seas on the draw is what we want to be doing against them. I think we want to be impacting the board. And I think Aether Vial is still really important. So we're going to keep that around. Maybe we can cut 1... Well, Geist is a really fast clock. Maybe cut 1 Resto because it's expensive. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and fight burn. Low to the ground. Interactive. These Burnt and Forged Tenders will hopefully do some work. Yeah, I mean, 1 land, but I think it's good enough. Sure, Lava Spike me. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm actually going to play this Aether Vial. Aether Vial sets us up for quite a nice game here. Alright, you got the double Lava Spike on me. No second land either. This is gonna be a fun game. Let's go ahead and play our 2-drop, or our 1-drop, or both of our 1-drops. I was adding them up. I think 1 plus 1 is 2-drop now. It's 2 1-drops. Now this is not quite a core Firewalker. Actually, I think we say okay to that. Alright, they don't have another land. That's good. And I think from here on out, we're just going to be really protecting Thalia. Our opponent on 1 land means Thalia is not too scary. In fact, I'm just going to play Thalia right now on my main phase. And now even burn creatures off the top don't get me that hard. So if our opponent just continues to miss some land drops here, while we have our Mausoleum plus Burnt and Forge Tender, alright, well, that's a land, I guess. I guess you can have that. It's like an Eidolon, maybe? Yeah, they can't play a 2-drop under Thalia, obviously. I think we'll go ahead and tick up the Vial. I think we'll start with an attack. And I think we're going to play another Forge Tender here. Costs 1 to play, but it saves us so much life and also so much tempo on this board. Oh, Craig Wescoe, you beautiful, beautiful. This deck is just... yeah, let me just tax all your cards and essentially play creatures that counter all of your spells. Yeah, that seems fair. That was great. I really enjoyed playing that deck. I think it's actually a really sweet deck. It's obviously like a meta call. I think it's really nice that there's a lot of combo and maybe aggro running around, but doesn't seem to be too good against like low to the ground control mid-range decks like Jund or Jeskai control. But it was alright against blue-white control because they are a pretty mana-intensive deck, and they don't have cheap answers to your cheap creatures. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about all that in the closing comments, and I'll see you guys soon. Alright, everybody, welcome back to the closing comments here with Blue-White Death and Taxes. Let's go ahead and talk about the deck. We faced blue-white control, green-white devoted Druid combo. Excuse me. And then we also played against red-white burn. So the 3 matches against, I would say 2 out of 3 of those were competitive decks. One of those was kind of a weird, cheesy deck that actually did cheese us out one game. But we got our opponent with the classic misplay. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about how the deck performed. Right, against blue-white control, obviously I really enjoyed having the Aether Vials and the Spell Quellers and the Geist, and even the Reflector Mage bouncing Wall of Omens wasn't like completely horrible. So that I really enjoy a Reflector Mage even in those hard control matchups. Spreading Seas was surprisingly like okay. I think it's nice when you have like draws. It's like Merfolk draws where like your Aether Vials play your creatures, and then your Spreading Seas uses up your mana. That way you're not you know, falling behind or anything like that. Obviously, if Spreading Seas was another creature, you'd be doing something with your mana that way. But I really think that the mana denial plan is very live in a blue-white Death and Taxes shell. I think that could easily be a mode of attack for this deck. Do I have enough blue sources to effectively do that on turn 3? There was one hand we had to ship back because it had 3 lands, but a bunch of blue spells. So they might need some tweaking in the mana base here. I'm not sure how, but maybe cutting a plains for an island is a good first start. Especially because we also have Mausoleum Wanderer, so a basic island is not completely horrible. And all of our 3-drops need an island, so I don't think it's that bad. Obviously, we didn't get to enjoy Restoration Angel that much, but overall, you know, the deck has those kind of taxing elements that I really enjoy. And adding that mana denial aspect on top of the Ghost Quarter Leonin Arbiter interaction with Spreading Seas, I think is something that should be explored. You know, we don't play Flicker Wisp in this build, and instead we play Spell Quellers. We don't play like Mirror Crusaders or Blade Splicers. Instead, we play Reflector Mages, and I think those are better in a metagame where your opponents are playing, you know, a bunch of humans or, what's the word, a hollow one. Especially Reflector Mage is fantastic against hollow one. And then with a Meddling Mage combo, you know, we can bounce creatures and make it so that they can never play them again, which I think is really, really, really useful. It didn't come up too much this game, but I think it would come up more often if we played more matches. In terms of our sideboard, I liked how hateful it was. So 3 Stony, 3 Rip. Obviously, we didn't need them, but it's nice. It's always you're always so confident when you're playing a deck like this and you walk into the tournament, and you know you're ready to face those decks that came to the tournament hoping not to see hate. Well, that's not the deck that we have here. We have plenty of hate. Then we have Virgin Forge Tender. Obviously was an all-star against Burn. Celestial Purge is great extra removal against cards. It's almost like Path 5 to 6 against certain decks, which can be really important. Selfless Spirit, great against sweeper decks. And then our own sweepers, actually not horribly irrelevant against opposing like green decks and things like that. Although they do have to be timed correctly such that you're not blowing up your whole board, which is we had to make a decision against the green deck in match 2 whether we wanted to start developing our own board or hope to hit that 4th land and then sweep the board. And so ultimately I chose developing the board, which could indicate to us that this should just be a second settle because it's just not worth blowing up our own board for a sweeper effect like that. We could also play Engineered Explosives, which can go up to X equals 2 in a deck like this, but that's obviously not, you know, amazing. So we have a choice here, probably EE or Settle the Wreckage in this 3rd slot here. There's also an argument for a disenchant effect for decks like Affinity, so like a literal disenchant to hit Cranial Platings and Arcbound Ravagers and things like that. Anyways, I think I covered most of what I wanted to cover for this deck. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I really enjoyed playing it. Actually, thinking about it, this Dampening Sphere has been looking at me for so long. Maybe we want 2 Dampening Sphere in the sideboard as well. You know, maybe we just want to go full-on hate package, just be the complete hateful deck. I don't know, though. It's something to consider thinking about moving forward. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you guys think about the deck if you enjoyed watching it. I really enjoyed playing it. It was a lot of fun. And it's definitely a way to kind of refresh yourself from the Tier 1, Tier 2 grind and facing against the same decks, doing the same interactions over again. You just kind of enjoy this fun, you know, interactive deck that actually is not too horribly positioned in a metagame that's filled with combo or aggro decks. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned for another video coming in 2 days. Probably going to be another Mardu Pyromancer competitive league. So that's going to be Wednesday. Stay tuned for that. See you guys soon.